welcome to the Village of Buchanan, November 6th, 2024 board meeting. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I also want to mention that Bob Wheeler will be on Zoom this evening, Trustee Bob Wheeler. And also on Zoom this evening will be our engineer, George Palmer. So the September 3rd, 2024 board meeting and also September 24, 2024 workshop meeting. Are there any questions, comments, corrections?
I have nothing.
Okay.
I'm good. Thank you.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve those minutes. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We do have our engineer online and nope, let's do comments from the floor. I apologize. First, let's do comments from the floor for agenda items, and then we'll go to George. Anybody have any comments? Okay.
Hi, my name's Steven. I'm on Donahue Court. I just moved here like about a year ago. I just want to thank the village for starting up and promoting pickleball. I attended those sessions and it was great. It's a great way to promote the community involvement and, you know, for health, obviously. So I just want to thank the village for that, and I hope you know, continue to do so and you know, get things going. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you.
Patrick?
Oh.
My name is Patrick Quirk. I live up at Woods Court. I just want to echo Stephen's sentiments. I also took part in the pickleball training, myself and my wife. As he said, physically, it's a great thing to do. Socially, got to meet some people I had never met before from the village. So again, thank you. Thank you for spearheading it, Wheeler. And it's an up and coming sport, probably the fastest growing sport in country. So it's nice to see the village on top of these things and trying to promote something that the rest of the country is also excited about. And good, I see that you're going to be doing some lessons for the younger children as well. I think it's a great idea.
Yes, we did advertise for teens ages 12 to 15.
That's great. Thanks again. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick.
Any other comments from the floor? No? Okay. So, like I said, we have our engineer, George Palmer on. George has some updates he would like to give the board and everyone. George?
Sure. Good evening, Mayor, Board of Trustees. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. We're coming to the end of the Road Improvement Project 2024. Tate, Shed, Rockledge, and the Highway Garage have all been paved. And we are coming to the point where we need to do some line striping. And the line striping that's in the bid, the contractor gave us to do Tate and the parking lot. And Scott Horton, highway foreman, asked us to look at some other roads as well. And we looked at them and we think that Westchester Avenue could benefit from some line striping, yellow line, white lines. And we asked the contractor to give us a proposal, not a proposal, to use his quantities. He's okay with us using the quantities, the prices he has in his bid, and to extend those quantities to do Westchester Avenue. He gave us a breakdown for the yellow lines, the white lines, the pavement crossings, and the stop bars. And that's where we're at with the project. We're coming to the end, and we have a little bit of work to do with the sidewalk. There's a sidewalk that's needs to be redone. That's going to be actually poured tomorrow for entering and exiting the parking lot. So, and they were almost done actually also with the guide rails that are out there. So hopefully you got a chance to check it out and give us your comments.
The guardrails in the parking lot you're referring to, right, George?
I'm sorry, say again?
The guardrails in the parking lot, is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, the guardrails in the park, they put in the wood guardrails. They should be done tomorrow.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, it's come a long way, so.
Big difference, George. Huge difference.
Yeah.
It was much needed. It was time.
It was a
That- that-
liability waiting to happen, so I'm glad to see you got done relatively fast, so.
And I've been there a couple of times to see the progress of it, so it's looking good. And the sidewalk will be done tomorrow. When will people be able to drive over or walk on it?
So we should wait a couple days for the concrete to cure. Usually it's 3 to 7 days. So we're thinking, if they pour tomorrow, say Monday, start using it.
Okay. All right.
George, just one question on the line item here for the markings and the lines. Is that through the same contractor? Is he bringing a third-party vendor in? How's he doing it?
He is bringing someone in to do it. He
Okay.
does do striping in-house, but he's scheduled to bring someone in to do this. So,
Okay. And he can work with their schedule and this can get done relatively quickly? Is that what you're saying?
yes, as soon as he gets the green light, whether he's doing the change order work for Westchester Avenue or not, he can schedule it and move forward.
Okay.
Because I know people have been asking for a while for Westchester Avenue to have that restriped because the striping is just faded. And so there was a lot of concern with that. So I'm happy to see that this is getting addressed. Thank you, George.
You're welcome.
Moving forward, George, into the future with striping, I think we should get on some kind of it should go out to bid every year, and we should maintain these stripes. Now that we're striping, we should maintain it. And we should get contractors on the hook to maintain our striping throughout the village.
Yeah, in the past, we've coordinated with town of Cortland, and that coordination, for whatever reason, isn't working as well as it has in past years. And I know the highway department's reached out to the contractor that Cortland's used, and sometimes successful, sometimes not. Sometimes they have to wait a year. So I agree, either a state bid or going out separately for the line striping would probably be economically, it'd probably be better. And for timing, it'd probably be better as well.
Yeah, well, we need to consider ourselves independent of the town on this striping. I don't
Yep.
think I don't think we have to piggyback off of them anymore.
Yep.
I think we should find our own way and our own actions, get this resolved ourselves.
I
Get our
agree.
own contractors to do this. And
I agree.
find the money somewhere to get it done.
And-
As a maintenance on our striping, instead of letting it go 5-6 years.
We're behind. George, but I think also because the town does so much and they get a good price, I think the board, a letter should go out to the town, maybe in April, asking also if they would consider us to be part of the bid. So we can get different options that way.
And if not being part of the bid, just put a piggyback clause in their bid so that we can use their contractor anytime, use their bid, and that way we still get that same good price. So if not, and if they're not a good price, we'll put it out ourselves.
Good. Thank you, George.
You're welcome.
I do agree that we need to talk to the town about this, because in the past it worked very well. Because I believe this price we're getting to stripe Westchester Avenue is outrageous, personally. It really is a crazy number. You're talking about, about half a mile of road? And in the past, when we did it with the town of Cortland, it was a lot less than that. And I know it's been a few years since I've been involved, but it just seems like a crazy number to me.
George, what kind of application are they using? Something different? Because there are multiple applications.
Yeah, so they're using an epoxy with a glass bead in it. So that's typically
Standard.
what we have. Yeah, it's pretty standard. We're not using like a thermal epoxy or anything. It's just a plain epoxy. It lasts 3 to 5 years, based on when you put it down. So
What,
We're at the tail end of the season too,
Yeah,
correct?
we sure
So
are.
It's,
we've been lucky.
we
we're
need to
getting
plan,
good
we
weather.
need to plan a little better.
Well, striping should be done in the springtime. unless we're pre-paved striping. I mean, you don't want to striping now is, you're striping over leaves, I mean, striping should be done
Yep.
in the springtime.
I agree.
And that's what I'm saying. If we're gonna get a contractor in here to do maintenance on our striping, then we should look into that for the springtime and set
So
up something.
what is the board's position on this? Do you want to stripe now or do you want to wait till the spring? I'd prefer now. I understand what you're saying, Anthony, but they have to clear the roads before they stripe. I'm just, it's a safety thing to me.
Yeah, no.
I get it. Yeah.
Okay.
It
No,
just,
I'm good
But
with-
yeah, maybe going forward,
Yeah, no, I'm good
one
with
of the
this
different
going
companies.
forward, but I mean, next year,
Okay.
as maintenance throughout the village, we should have a striping contractor that we
Right.
utilize when we need them.
yep.
All right, good.
I agree.
I agree with that also. I just, we're stuck between a rock and a hard place this late in the season with the roads, the striping being so, basically invisible in most of the spots. It's probably some kind of a liability issue if something were to happen too.
Right.
So although I think it's a high price, I think we need to do it.
Thanks, Bob. Okay, George, what else do you have for us? I know you had a few things.
So, in that change order, we also had the stop bars and the crosswalks. So should we, take a motion to do the line striping minus the stop bars and the crosswalks to save some money, or do the whole thing?
I mean, we're looking at it, that's the lowest,
No, you have to
they're
complete.
they're the cheapest line item, so just do it.
Yeah,
You
the
you have them on the hook
My
now, just
opinion.
complete it.
the stop
Okay.
bars are $259. The crosswalks are $1,396.
Okay,
Oh.
very good. We'll do. We'll have them do it.
All right, thanks, George.
And so the sewer lining is complete, and we were able to, along Albany Post Road, through the Carbone site, all the way down to, White Street. We did that, and we reduced the infiltration by 15,000 gallons per day. The PO for the 4th Street Pump Station fence, that's been issued. The contractor is going to submit shop drawings, and that should be completed prior to the end of the year. And we did receive some WIA money, and we need to wait for some WQIP money to kind of know what direction we're going in there. And then AMS, they're moving along with their project pretty well. And the Village Square, the one at the other end of the village, they have some engineering and some road access issues with the town that they need to address to keep their project moving forward. So that's all I have.
All right, and for the sewer treatment, we announced last time that we had gotten a grant, the WIA grant. We also still have in the loop previous WQIP, and this is for the upgrade of the sewer treatment plant.
Yep.
So we're still working on that, and plus there's $6 million in the Entergy Community Fund that's still available to us, and when the time comes, we will see what we need out of that and have a conversation with the town, and hopefully we can start the rehabilitation next year.
Yep.
Any questions for George? No? Okay.
Thank you, George.
You got off easy tonight, George.
George, I
Thank
got
you.
a question on the parking lot.
Sure,
Quick
shoot.
one.
Go ahead.
The as-built for the parking lot. Is there gonna be an as-built for the parking lot? Because I'm looking at the survey and I see the pitch running off the backside.
Yep.
I don't know who surveyed it and who dictated the elevations. Seems like there's still a little bit of quite pitch running to the back. I don't know who
we
said
could-
that.
So it's the contractor hired the surveyor that we hired to do the layout, and they followed exactly what was on the plan. So from what and they did everything with a laser level. So everything's laser leveled, everything's as per the plan. So it should be all at like a 5% pitch. And the only
Are we
spot-
gonna check that?
We checked it as we went, and it should be as per plan, but we can do a follow-up with the contractor and have the what do you call it out there? Have the surveyor out there to cross-check him.
Not on their dime, correct?
I'd have to find out. I don't know if we had that. I have to check the spec for that and I'll let you know.
Because we had nobody out there inspecting for us. So
I was just gonna ask who was it?
No.
Who do we have out there inspecting?
Paul was
No,
there every day. I saw him
Paul,
every day.
Paul was out there checking when they were doing it and they put a benchmark out there and they laser leveled off the benchmark. So it should be as per plan. It might be off by, half inch somewhere here or there, but it should be pretty close to the plan.
all right, that was really all I wanted to know, is make sure that we were covered. And if they were gonna issue us an as-built, or if that was requested. If it wasn't requested, then we can't. So I don't know if it was requested or not.
Well, the contractor's out there. We can cross-check the benchmarks again and get it from him and get the, an as-built for the four corners and go from there. It's not much. They're still out there anyway, so it's not much
Yeah.
to have them do it. So, but
When I spoke to the contractor, I'm just thinking about the wooden fence around. They had mentioned something in the back area. They were leaving something open a little bit so that when it came for snow removal, they
Yeah,
have
right.
access.
right now, if you look, it's down the middle. So down the middle, there's probably a 10-foot between two posts where when you go to plow it, you can plow it and push it right off in between the two posts, and it should be easier to plow that way. But we might need a chain or something across it just in case. That might put that in there. But
Yeah, I
it's for
think that would be good.
that opening is for plowing,
Oh, okay.
snow plowing. So
Okay. Good. That's planning ahead. The only other thing is, since I've been here since I'm a dinosaur, I guess now. Years ago, we used to have a sign out there. Not a big sign, not like our entrance sign, but it was a little sign that said Village of Buchanan parking lot number 1, whatever, or parking lot. And right there, it would have the hours that people were allowed to park there. I don't know if that's something the board would be interested in putting a small sign there. Just put that out.
Well, if it's in our code, we have to put it out there, correct, Marcus?
You can put a sign, yeah.
Is it, we have
What are
code
the
for that?
hours?
I don't think so. I think it was just labeling our our parking lots, and I think it's 4 to 6 a.m. They can't park, so it's no overnight parking. Anything else for us, George?
oh, that's it.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thanks, George.
You're welcome. Have a good night. Thank you.
Yes, have a good night.
Good night,
You
George.
too. Good night.
Okay. Under new business update regarding pickleball, Wilda.
Just a quick update. We finished our last session for the clinic 2 weeks ago. However, the group is still very, very committed to continuing working and learning their skills. So we are now going to start paying for our own lessons. The instructor that we have has provided us with a very reasonable package. And he will still provide the equipment. We will still use the pavilion. We're actually using the pavilion on days of the week. And we'd like to thank the board for maintaining it open. And we'd also like to say thank you for the opportunity to have this time where we've been able to socialize and make from new friends and still learn a sport that we did not know.
All right, thank you. The next is the update on the recreation survey. I just want to tell you who is on our recreation committee. I'm sorry.
I have
You
it.
have them, good. John Palmiero, he's in the audience, Megan Starchka, Karen and Rick Boyle, and Colleen Lonigan. Okay, the formation of the recreation committee was to see what the needs and interests were of the residents in the village. And these people stepped up to be part of our committee. So we thank you. So you're going to give us the results?
So we have.
Oh, Wilda, excuse me.
Yes.
Could I have one of the committee member,
But I like to say something because
Okay,
we were
that's fine.
working together.
Yeah, I know. I've been to a few meetings too.
Yeah, a few, and so have I. Marcus, can you bring up this slide? Okay, so the individuals that you see listed here are the individuals that worked with the survey, distributed, looked at the data, compiled it, and this is kind of loud for me. Yeah, all right, I'm over here. And worked together to see what the residents were interested in doing. Can you hear me if I talk like this? That's better. And that's probably what you guys will do. So we used the data to see what the residents were interested in. We compiled it. I have a PowerPoint, hard copy for the board. The residents can see it on the screen. Marcus, could we have a link put on the village website with this information in case anyone in the village wants to see it at some point?
Mhm.
Perfect. We all worked together. Everyone worked hard. We had lots of meetings, lots of text messages, but I want to give a special shout out to Megan because she put the PowerPoint together for us, and I'm very grateful. It's all
Thank you,
yours.
Megan. Thank you all.
Hi, good evening,
Hi, good
everyone.
evening.
First off, thank you so much for the opportunity to look at recreation and give us the chance as village residents to survey everyone. I think it was, great opportunity. We were able to, over the course of the last several months, we were able to survey the facilities, look at the infrastructure. We were able to meet with Marcus. We had a couple meetings where we went through some numbers. We met with Jacqueline Pascal as well to really review camp. So over the course of the last several months, we worked to put together the survey and to distribute it out to village residents. Ultimately, we were able to get 67 respondents. So pretty good. We had marketed it across social media. Also, John spent a significant amount of the day at Buchanan Day.
Yes, he
Very
did.
good time there.
Mhm.
Handed out the surveys to approximately 50 people. And as Megan said, we got about 67 back, which I think is a very good number for a small municipality like the village of Buchanan. So we're very happy with the responses that we got back.
We made sure that paper surveys were available. We wanted to reach out to the seniors. We wanted to make sure that everyone, was utilized as a resource. Everyone had a voice in the community. So ultimately, some of the information that we got back, as Awilda said, everything will be posted to the village website. So if we want to go into, detailed specifics, that will be available.
Maybe just, if you want me to go on the pages on the presentation, I have it on screen.
Perfect. So the first question, how often do you attend any of the village's organized activities on an annual basis? Overall, I think we got a significant number of village residents participating with 58.21%. Question number 2, do you have children who have participated in village recreation programs? Also an overwhelming majority with 61%.
So as we know, the village camp is very popular. We heard a lot of good things about the village camp. A lot of residents in the village as well as non-residents take part in the village Buchanan's camp. So accolades to the board and to Jackie for the great job that the village camp done this for the past couple of years.
So leading into the next question, camp was obviously a significant, number of responses that people do partake in. And again, just to echo John's sentiments, my children attended the camp. They were also attendees this year. And what a fantastic program we have. It's also been great to hear from other communities that we've actually attracted some local folks as well. So that's something that we're doing, I think, really well, and we've improved year over year. So it's nice to see that residents are, using the camp. Pool obviously is really significant to the recreation program and special events, I think, which is something that we're currently doing that we'd like to build upon. Your favorite recreation activities, obviously pickleball is, an astounding response at this point. Special events is also pretty significant. And again, pool. Does anyone in your family belong to the seniors club? We wanted to make sure to address the seniors. That was really important to Colleen. At this point, it's a little bit less than 20%, right? So we have 17.91% of village residents that are engaged in the senior club. What is the best way to communicate information about recreation? I think as we met as a committee, we found that we can definitely enhance our communications. So this was a really great opportunity to see what's most effective and what village residents want to see. The village newsletter, I think folks would really appreciate that. Facebook, we'd like to see some more posts on Facebook, email communication. If we could get some type of, email going, I think that would be appreciated, and obviously all the other social media channels.
Everybody really looks forward to getting the village newsletter. So any recreation activities that we can put on there, I know there's been some, but to really enhance that, to really get some more activities by using the village newsletter would be a great idea with any of the special events, any of the programs coming up. Pickleball information, pickleball updates. I play pickleball 3 or 4 times a week, probably more than I should be playing. It's new players all over the place, so it's great what's going on with the pavilion and what Buchanan is doing to enhance the sport of pickleball.
So the following slide is really so valuable. This really gave everyone the opportunity to give specific, detailed information on what they want to see with the community. And I would definitely encourage everyone to go through this. It's really fantastic. The board should look at it. Some really great points. We've tried to summarize most of those points throughout the PowerPoint, but just want to point out that the specific data will be available on the website.
There's a lot of information. What the responses were. Special events was a big thing. The pool upgrades, which I know is going to be talked about a little bit after we get done here. The pool is definitely a big plus for the village. As we know, the town has a pool that's very big, but Buchanan has a nice, ideal pool for this community. And I know we know there's some work that has to be done with the pool, but it's definitely an asset to the community, especially to the camp. So we're all in favor of whatever needs to be done with the village pool up there.
So that really leads into our next slide. The pool is huge. It's monumental to our recreation, department as well as camp, all of our activities. It's really important that we maintain the pool. We do understand that there's areas of opportunity with the pool, right? We had talked about the lack of a snack bar, concession stand. We thought about maybe adding in some swim lessons, right? There's a lot that can be done with the pool. I think Jackie felt really strongly that we need some new furniture. I think that there's some enhancements that really have to be done. I know we're, big question mark about the kiddie pool. I know when I had young children, I really appreciated that kiddie pool. There's really not much around. Pine Lake does not have a kiddie pool.
Pine Lake has zero depth.
Zero depth, yeah.
Which is great. And that's why the kiddie pool, which we know needs a lot of work, and it's going to be a topic of a discussion, but it would be great if that could get up and running again. But we certainly understand there's a lot to go on with the
Splash park, anything
Yeah.
that we can do, but it is really appreciated, I think, for folks, with the younger kids. Birthday party packages, lifeguard training courses, there's so much that can be done, with the pool. Camp, as we talked about, camp is, a fundamental part of our recreation department. Areas of opportunity, we want to benchmark where our prices are, versus other municipalities. We are, to be honest, I think I paid $3 something an hour for my children. That is a bargain. So should we be bargain or should we be priced appropriately? So we want to look at that, right? We don't want to price gouge, but of course we should be priced appropriately, benchmark versus other municipalities. Add additional groups. I think we sold out on some of the younger groups this year. Again, Croton was a big draw. Croton does not have a pool. So let's all keep that in mind, right? Let's use our new survey software and conduct post-camp surveys. We should be surveying the, everyone that participated in camp. We should be surveying the counselors to see what enhancements, and suggestions they have. And then also this group that we have, this constituent from camp, they should be getting all of our marketing materials, right? They're our first group that should be marketed to for recreation. So camp, easy breezy. Perfect, perfect group for us to bring into all of our events. The tennis court, tennis activities. Pickleball was great. Thank you so much. My husband and I really enjoyed it. It was a great date to get out of the house and, it was fun and it was right down the street. So it was really easy. We loved it. I got a chance to meet with other village residents that I haven't had a chance to, to conversate with previously. So it was great. I know that there's still some challenges and repairs that are needed for those court sports to be successful. So we did list that as an area of opportunity. Rick has, some great connections with a lot of sports clubs that I think would also be interested in using some of our courts, the volleyball.
Yeah, I think you have the
Rick,
opportunity.
yeah, come on up, Rick. Rick Boyle. Don't be shy, Rick.
Hi. Yeah,
No,
I
you're
think there's
not.
some opportunities here because space is an issue with all sports. So if you look at the opportunity, I know Lens Cove, there's different challenges because of second base. I get it. But field space for coaches to run their training is huge. I know that, for example, Portland Little League, I think, has behind the pavilion, but if they could put their schedule up there, there's open dates. I think there's opportunities. I'll be selfish here. I run a softball organization. You give me a field, I'll have 40 girls there in a minute. You know, so I think there's opportunities as we go along. Basketball courts, there's always basketball coaches that need space to coach. So there's a blending opportunity here, and I know it's all challenging, but that's why I think any upgrades to certain facilities could end up returning an investment, you know, if you work through different different coaches.
The
Thank you.
pavilion, I mean, we could easily, I think, get some basketball courts in there, maybe two. I spend every weekend at a basketball court, and let me tell you, I'd love to be here. I don't want to be road. As Rick said, I mean, space is at a premium, so we really, as a committee, I think, want to see us utilize the space to be revenue generating, because ultimately, when we look at the numbers at the end, there's definitely an investment that is needed.
It would be great if the board could consider possibly opening the pavilion at night seasonally, keeping the lights on for basketball, pickleball. I know, as we know, the clinic is being held inside the pavilion. But again, that would be great if the board could consider opening in the evenings, again, seasonally, lights on, basketball, pickleball, maybe some indoor soccer, some other activities that can be held inside the pavilion.
Right now, it's open from 8 to 8.
Okay. Is it?
Yes.
I spot check
That's-
every now and then.
And I've always said, if it's not, text me and I'll have it open for
5
you.
days a week or?
Monday through Fridays, I believe. I don't know about the weekends, but Monday through Fridays, we agreed it would be open from 8 to 8.
Okay.
So we had, at one time, we had this old lighting system, and over the last couple of years, we've upgraded it.
Yeah.
So it's cheaper for us to keep the lights on now.
So are the pickleball nets set up there so people can come in and play?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Fields, right, as we mentioned, I think the overall resounding response when we've spoken to village residents is there's a personal connection to Lens Cove, right? This is our riverfront property. People have played ball there for years. I mean, someone was telling me about coming out of Johnny Ritz and going, right? I mean, this
Those were the good old
community
days, Megan.
staple. This is a
Mhm.
community staple that we would love to see revived. And really could be such a draw. I mean, I think someone mentioned too, like doing some food trucks, or there's so much opportunity. But back to fields, I know that the lights are a significant issue, but we'd love to see that. And again, maybe partnering with some outside organizations would help us.
Yeah, we are aware that the field needs some work, a lot of work in some areas, but again, that's an expense and all that.
The other thing I'll add is, and I think we talked to you, Marcus, about it, and Teresa, is like there's downstate volleyball. They're always looking for stuff. You put a couple of sand courts in with them, you might do it. I don't know. That's an opportunity too. Volleyball, we don't think about that. But sand volleyball, the old courts that used to be around here were Peekskill. They're no longer available to, and there's one in Groton in their park, but you know, that's just an opportunity again, because of Teresa informed us during our meeting, the limitation about past second base is the way.
Well, we were waiting for the agreement with Holtec to be over so that we can move forward to now ask if we can use that space. We'll probably have to get some kind of liability waiver with them, but that's-
Yeah, the good news with that is, I think that we can stay off Holtec's property for volleyball. And I did, thank you for you gave me the guy's number again. I did reach out to him the day after we spoke.
Yep.
And he said, I'm out of town, I'll call you back. I haven't got a call back, so.
They had
That-
challenges with another organization coming in for their indoor stuff. so
Something was going on
I'll
and-
reach back out.
Yeah, and I told him, give me some ideas and we can present it to the board, so.
And I'll give you another thing, like the softball organization I run, for example, at the Art Park, we took part of that park. We did the maintenance to get it going, to get the field going. Now, obviously, we can't do maintenance after that because it's a state park, but those are opportunities for you. If they come in, they want sand courts, they go for it.
we had, I don't know if you remember, was it
No.
downstate
Yeah,
volleyball?
it was, and we talked to them, and they actually talked about opening the volleyball courts and then allowing the public to use it. So the board is very interested in hearing And the idea was that we'll get back to you, and they went off the radar for a little while. So
I
thank you for
think
the
COVID
connection, and so I'm
yeah.
waiting for them to get back to us.
We had made an agreement with them,
Yes.
and I think COVID
Yep.
came along and
That's correct.
derailed everything there, so, but thank you for bringing that up again.
So I think one thing that the village does really well, and we'd love to see enhanced, is events. Right now, we have Buchanan Day, the St. Patrick's Day Parade. I mean, that is something that none of the other local municipalities do. So I think we felt that we should really focus on what we do well and enhance that. We have our lovely tree lighting. Teresa had suggested a holiday parade similar to that of Yorktown. I think these are all great ideas and all should really be
Yeah.
reviewed.
As I think everybody here knows, nothing brings out a village or a town better than special events. It's a unity. Everybody loves it. So it's just something for the village to consider, or a couple more special events. Maybe heading into the summer, a summer concert series like the town of Portland does. Movies. It's great. Everybody loves it. It's pretty simple to put together.
I'd love to see corned beef and cabbage at the pavilion after the St. Patrick's Day Parade.
So you don't have to cook, right?
My mother, I could get her to, you would be surprised, 70 pounds of corned beef and, it'll be ready. But no, there's a lot of opportunities, and I think that we do the events really well right now. And I think if we could focus on those, market those, we can enhance those. The other thing that I think we had from some of the suggestions that I thought was great was really kind of almost mirroring that of a senior calendar, right? Where you have Zumba, you have, someone suggested that new brunch cruise, right? Up and down the Hudson. Instead of it just being for seniors, right? Where you do Broadway shows, you do events, it would be great to open it up to the whole community, right? Do group events, group outings, you could do group sports, whatever it is. But I think there's a lot of opportunity there and a lot of interest. You have a lot of new, younger folks, in the community that are looking to do things with their children. So just giving everyone an outlet, I think would be really appreciated.
You know what we used to do, Megan, years ago? I'm just thinking now. Remember, Cindy, Christmas time to go down to the city, like the village would actually get a bus and everybody could go to, what were a show or
My parents love those trips. They go on the bus trips all the time, and me and my girlfriends are always looking to go to the wineries, right? Look, there's plenty of opportunities,
sure.
and again, it's revenue generating, right? You can easily cover your costs, charge a little bit extra to cover our pool expenses, right? So, as a department, as a committee, we really want to focus on revenue generating opportunities. We want to cover our costs to ultimately fundraise for our ultimate goal of repairing our infrastructure. So we just included, an example. Rentals, right? Rentals are a huge opportunity. I'm constantly on social media and people are always looking for space to have their children's birthday parties. This should be easily accessible on our website. I was just at the West Point campus the other day. They have a whole brochure of all of their sites that you can rent out on their campus. We should have the same thing available, right? We should have packages, birthday party, whatever it is. Revenue generating opportunity. We have plenty of space to rent. We have the pavilion, we have fields, we have, this structure. Let's make some money on it. Communication. As we've stated throughout the presentation, areas of opportunity for communication. We really just have to come strong with all of our events. We have to make sure that we have a regular cadence of marketing. A marketing plan should be established prior to every event. It should be posted on social media regularly. We should have it in the newsletter. There should be a regular cadence of marketing in conjunction with any event, whether it be camp, whether it be an event, whatever it is. Summary of investments needed. I mean, we really just went off the cuff in terms of what we thought the numbers were going to be, but ultimately, I mean, we need a lot to fix these infrastructure and repairs. So in conclusion, we really want to thank everyone for giving us this opportunity to look at everything because, we really all feel strongly that we live in a great community with lots of opportunities. But I think we can do better. And I think we'd love the chance to do better. And I think with some of these easy suggestions, we could certainly get there. I'm available. I think you can contact me. I'm on Portland Street if that's what's needed. I'm always free to chat, anything needed. John has been an incredible resource. We're so grateful. And Rick, really, I mean, everyone on this community has been very valuable in their expertise. So whatever is needed, we're happy to help. But thank you for the time.
Thank you.
Thank you for your
Thank you so
time.
much.
Thank you.
Great job.
Great presentation. And we have a great committee. I'm just sitting here smiling. I'm just completely blown away by the work you guys did and the information that you're forwarding to us. Thank you. I mean, and this was one of the big things for forming this committee. I'd like to see more residents getting involved. So this is beautiful. And like I said, I sat up here and I smiled listening to all the work that happened and everything that, you came and got together. Thank you. Thank you so much. We need to figure out some more events. But I'm sure you guys are very creative. You will.
Well, we do need to make clear that we're sharing these ideas with the recreational director, who's Jacqueline Pasquale. Because based on the information you provided, you wanted us to serve as an advisory committee, and we're advising Jacqueline of these things. So now it is up to her to reach out to the committee if she wants involvement.
Or if the board decides to do an event, we have the conversation with Jackie and Jackie, this is what we'd like to see for an event.
Absolutely.
But I love this. I love when people get involved in their community. So thank you guys so much.
Mayor, there's a hand raised.
Oh,
Gone.
oh, it's
There
gone.
was a hand raised, but it's gone now.
We came back in.
it Bob?
iPhone 64. Do you want to allow them to speak?
Yeah, of course. Of course. Why not?
Okay, iPhone 64, whoever you are, you can unmute yourself, you can speak.
Hi, Marcus. It's Jackie. How are you?
Oh, it's
Hi.
Jackie!
Hi,
Hey,
Jackie.
Jackie.
Our rec supervisor, Jackie
Hi,
Pasquale.
Megan. That was wonderful. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I wanted to mention that the pavilion does have the 2 basketball hoops there as well. But I was wondering how would that work during at the time, like right now when it starts to get colder. Most people don't want to be outside when it's cold, and although the pavilion is indoors, it's still going to be cold inside the pavilion. I mean, I could see for practice or whatnot, but I don't know if parents and kids are going to want to be playing in the pavilion when it's really cold out.
I don't know if I agree totally with that, because I've had some residents who have asked me if the pavilion is open so they can bring their children to play.
Mm-hmm.
So what we would need to do is to monitor it.
Yeah, because I know I'm a very big sports person with my daughter. My Lisa Marie was always big on sports and whatnot, and most of the activities that like the volleyball was always like an indoor practices, like a downstate. Downstate was a very big thing for her. She was a member of Downstate, and everything was always indoors. I mean, I don't know. I'm willing to try. I would love to try if anybody's willing to want to rent the pavilion to do practices.
I think John wants
I'm
to
more
answer
than
that.
open to do that.
Yeah, hi, Jackie. I'm pretty sure I did say that at least twice seasonally. I mean, I don't think it should be open the middle of January, February, unless, of course, the weather continues to stay warm.
Right.
But while the weather's warm, I think it would be great to try to keep the pavilion open. And once word gets out, I really think that the youth and even the adults would take advantage of it. Again, seasonally, not when it's 10 degrees out or, not there's a torrential downpour of rain, even though I do know that, that it's rain covered. But again, I've said seasonally, I agree 100% that when it's 10 degrees out, we don't want the
Yeah.
pavilion open.
And the field outside, I would love to see softball games out there. I mean, that would be wonderful if we could use the field out there. But it, has to be maintained by the village and the town. And I would love to see that as well. And birthday packages as well. That's something that could be arranged, but again, that's something that will probably be more towards like the summer, fall, and springtime, not more so the winter, because people don't want to be outside when it's cold and have a birthday party under the pavilion.
No,
So,
absolutely. You're absolutely correct. Seasonally.
Yes. Thank you so much for everything. That was wonderful.
All right. Thank you, Jackie. iPhone 64.
Have a great night.
You too.
Good night,
Oh,
Jack.
Jackie,
Yes.
before you go, do you want to announce the holiday Christmas tree lighting? The date
Oh,
and time?
yes. I have put out the flyer and I've already got it board approved by the district office. It's going to be December 1st at 6 o'clock in the evening. I'm reaching out to the high school to see if we can get our singers and our chorus and lots of volunteers. And I'm gonna reach out to the local businesses as well to see if they would give a donation for raffle items. And I hope I have the board as well. Maybe you guys can help me out with a nice raffle Christmas tree for some very happy person that would win it. And I've already reached out to the PBA, the police officers. They're also going to donate the 2 bicycles that we do annually for 2 children on the night of the event.
Good. Thank you, Jackie, and thank you for reminding us, the board. They usually like to contribute to a raffle too.
I sent out an email. I don't know if everybody received it. I didn't get any response. I was in the office today, so I sent it out a few days ago. I hope you guys received the flyer and
I
saw the
flyer.
yes. Thank
All
you
right,
so
thanks,
much for
Jackie.
everything you do. Thanks.
All right, you too. Have a
Bye-bye.
good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Thanks, Jack.
Bye.
Okay, now we're going to have a discussion with the pool consultant.
John?
We have some work to do.
John will come up now.
Mm.
Hello, John. Why don't you introduce yourself a little bit before you get into our pool, a little bit of your background, your experience to the public and the board to know.
How are you today? I'm John Petrosini. I'm a civil engineer by background. Over the last 30 years, I started out working on land development projects. We did a little bit of pool consulting along with that. Over the last 30 years, it's transitioned into almost fully swimming pools. I've designed, built, modified a couple thousand swimming pools at this point. We finished up one of the biggest pools in Orange County, new construction for the town of Woodbury. That was about 2 years ago. It was an 18,000 square foot pool. We were able to incorporate a water park slide in it, lots of features. So it was a good sized project. Currently, I'm working with the city of White Plains on renovating one of their pools and then removing and replacing pools in another park. I'm working with the town of North Castle on restoring their swimming facility. I'm working with the town of Warwick, rehabbing 2 of their pools and building a new one for them. We're looking into new pools for the town of Goshen. So I've got a lot of experience with pools, both private development and also municipal. I did have the chance to meet with Marcus, review with him, walk around your pool, take a look at it, meet with your staff a little bit out there to discuss with them, and also to discuss with the contractor that you've had out there doing your maintenance, to go over issues they've found. I'm not very clear on really what your objectives are here. I don't know if you are yet.
We've had discussions before. And Bob, if Bob could go over this, because Bob was the highway foreman.
Okay.
We talked about
Yeah.
somebody come in with an idea of
Right.
design.
Right.
An engineer or a designer to give us some ideas. You saw the pool,
Yes.
okay? We need you to give us a direction now. That's pretty much a consultant in a consultant way, showing us what our options are, where we could spread, how we could do it according to Board of Health and all the stuff that we need to, all the restrictions that we have. And I think we talked about getting a designer, and I think that's why you're here.
So
Give
like
us
the
some
waiting
kind of
pool,
an
for example.
idea.
Well,
But do you
I-
have the background of the pool? Did
Well,
Marcus
I mean,
explain the different issues?
I looked at your existing swimming pool
Okay,
and we reviewed some of the issues.
okay.
The wading pool, I'm aware, is shut down.
Mhm.
operates off of a shared filtration system with the swimming pool. I don't know if you've officially closed that with the health department or not, or if you've just closed it on your own,
I think we just closed it.
but I also understand there's no budget.
Yeah,
So
Well,
there we get into what is it you're looking to accomplish? Are you looking to just establish, here's what we need to save? Or are you trying to accomplish something specific, maintaining the pool, opening the kiddie?
If there was no budget, you wouldn't be here.
Okay,
Okay?
so
There's always a budget.
I think,
They
think,
understand what the budget would look like from your
Okay.
point of view.
Yeah, I mean, we need some PowerPoints from you to give us an idea of where we're going. We have a budget. And we need to know what we need to make this work for our community. The kiddie pool like that wading pool, whatever that is.
Yep.
Like, what is that gonna cost us to fix? You know what I mean? How are we gonna make that work again? Is there something we can make that's better than that you offer now? That would be something more enticing
if
to our
you
children.
repair, then you can keep what you have. If you build new or substantially modify, you have to bring it to current code completely.
No.
The pool you have now, you don't meet ADA requirements.
oh, so the main pool that we don't need,
The waiting.
the
pool,
waiting pool, okay.
You are required by ADA to have a ramp
Okay.
going into the pool.
Okay.
Currently, you don't have
Yeah.
that. If you were to modify what you have, it would be up to your building department to determine, but typically it's 50% of value.
That's the
Above,
trigger
you have
point.
to comply, below, you're okay.
Okay.
You may want that, you may want the ramp, I don't know. But a new construction kiddie pool, equivalent size of what you have in municipal dollars, you're looking at about $200,000.
Okay.
Yeesh.
Okay.
Is that operating off the same filtration system?
No, that
we
is,
have?
that has not been
Independent.
allowed in
Okay.
decades.
So it'd be an independent system.
It has to be a freestanding system for every body.
Okay.
So so the kiddie pool, there was also some discussion on the kiddie pool. There was also, and Megan had mentioned it before about possibly a sprinkler park also, like in that area, something small, or the kiddie pool. But fortunately, in our recreation fund, it's probably something we could do because we do have that fund in our
Okay.
recreation fund.
If you,
Wayne's the difference on the, if it's wait to go to a spray pool, how much each unit costs and how much water it'll take to do it. So that way it's-
depending on what you have in mind for a spray park, if you're picturing Disneyland,
No,
No,
it's incredibly expensive. If you're picturing something that's gonna have a very low budget, we can do that. But it's probably not something that's gonna be very impressive to look at.
Oh, jeez.
We've all seen the mushroom fountain.
right,
Mhm.
yeah.
A true mushroom fountain is about $35,000 to purchase, $70,000 installed.
Mhm.
That's one feature. We need 500 gallons a minute to feed it. There are definitely a lot of features available that use less water, that are cheaper, but that just gives you an idea of what one feature can cost you.
Does
And
include the,
Oh.
what you call it?
that includes,
processing
that
of water.
includes the feature. It doesn't include the
No, and
concrete
they
deck that it has
understand
to
that.
go
What
on,
happened with
the
the water?
plumbing, the
Does the water
recirculation
get
pump.
recirculated and cleaned or
Yeah,
does
If
it?
we recirculate, then we need a tank below ground to capture all of the water. The water will be treated in that tank, and then we pump it out of the tank and into the features, where it then flows back into the tank. The other option is to do a flow-through pool, where you use fresh water from the water main to supply the features. And then you discharge it to your stormwater system. The main difference is in a flow-through pool, you are not subject to health department regulation. You don't have to apply to the health department and they don't have operational jurisdiction. You don't need a recirculation system, so you don't need all the plumbing to convey the water to a tank. You don't need the tank. You don't need the disinfection and treatment system. In Westchester, every UV or every spray park has to be fully UV treated. UV disinfection for a backyard pool is very cheap, a few $1,000s. When we start looking at thousands of gallons a minute, we're looking at tens of thousands of dollars just for a UV unit. With the flow through pool, you don't need that. You don't need to treat the water at all.
So with the flow through pool, how much water does it use?
It would depend on your selection of features. We would obviously be looking at the lower water usage features. We'll evaluate what you could have available to you for water. We could build something reasonable for 150 gallons a minute.
How many of these flow through pools are in Westchester County? That you know?
I honestly don't know. They
You don't.
don't need health department jurisdiction.
Because what do you do with
So
the
they would not
discharge
fall.
water? What do you do with the discharge water? There's requirements in Westchester County. We have to maintain our own discharge.
So you can put it into a storm system.
I don't
You-
know if you can, pool water. Oh,
No,
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 that's
no,
flow
it's-
through.
it's-
You're right. It's a
it's fresh
flow
water,
through.
yeah.
That's right. It's just like tap water.
Right.
I just want to know because in Westchester, there's a lot of restrictions on discharging water. Stormwater maintenance is very big in this county.
Right.
You know what I mean? It would be considered the same thing.
The last one I built was in Rockland County.
Mhm.
And there was no involvement. They discharge it into a field, which is collected by a stormwater system. And that's the end of it.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Can that water be,
Absolutely.
if they wanted to capped and then used into our irrigation system or anything versus?
It
just
could
going-
be.
I'm just, okay.
You're talking about a lot of gallons, Sean.
Yeah,
You're
that's
talking
the
about a lot
problem.
of
Like,
water.
what's the water bill?
That
gonna be?
amount of water, most places don't have that much water that they can spare to just,
Yeah, we don't have storage facility for that
Right.
kind of water.
right.
Absolutely not. So, I mean, I like that idea. I just think that I mean, that's a lot of water.
Agreed.
You're talking about a lot of water. I feel like the runoff though would be something that it would be something we'd have to face. And we don't have a place to put that. So we would have to go to the chlorination system.
Okay.
So kiddie
So-
pool, we're looking at 200,000, you said.
Well, for a wading pool, yes, of equal size to what you have.
That's included, it includes the treatment of the water?
Yeah, that would be, I mean, that's just, I mean,
Just one.
we're very conceptual right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that would be finished product ready to swim.
Well, that pool's integral in our day camp. So it's a must have.
A large pool.
Right.
Yeah, the whole pool facility in general. So, I mean, if we need upgrades to the kiddie pool and there's a demand for it, then it's something we need to explore. And I think we have to utilize our recreation committee to, maybe delve into this a little bit further. I think they should be heavily involved in this along with Jackie and see what our real needs are. I mean, at least now we have some kind of a starting point as to what the cost is.
No, and
Yeah.
that's why we appreciate that you're here because this is a variable for us. We don't know what we're getting ourselves into here.
Understood. Nobody ever does.
And we want to know
And then
where
the
we're headed.
Pandora box happens, right?
And when I said that we needed a designer, that's what I mean. Like we know what we have. We know that we can utilize what we have. It's antiquated. We need to upgrade it and even bringing up the ADA compliance issue with the wading pool.
And 88 is big right
Here
now.
we go. We want to change the wading pool, but now we're entering a whole other realm where we have to make it compliant with ADA. If we
Right.
change the footprint of the pool, you're saying, correct?
If you improve it to
By more than
50% or
50%.
more of
Yep.
its total value.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
we have to
whether
make
that
it
be
special, yeah.
changing the footprint, changing the mechanical equipment, it's 50% of value.
Interesting.
And the American Disabilities Act is you really gotta dot your i's and cross your t's on that because if you're shown to not be compliant, it's a whole can of worms.
We'll get to
Right.
keep the budget below 50%.
You know, a lot of places like having the ramp.
Yep.
They don't build a traditional handicap ramp like you would have coming to a building. They built the beach entry going into a kiddie pool.
Yep.
And the beach entry it's great for the really little ones.
Yeah, especially
Yeah,
for a
You
day
can-
camp.
You can give them a 3-inch deep portion of water.
Yep.
And what we're seeing here in our community, it's, we're seeing a lot of young families coming in with little children and you know, they can't get into the big pool unless, you know, mommy or daddy's holding them or whatever. But, yeah, we're seeing our population change here. So, it's kind of something we really need.
So if you like the features idea, instead of a splash pad, I suggest that people look at, you can do a splash pad with 3 or 4 features and you have a pretty anemic looking splash pad. But if you do a wading pool with 1 feature in it, you have the coolest wading pool around. But it costs you a lot less.
Well, we have the luxury of having John Palmiero,
Yeah.
who has dealt with the town pool for a long time. And he is the perfect guy to give us some ideas on what direction we want to go on, along with Megan and everybody else, Ricky.
Yeah, no, these guys
To
have
give
done a
us
great
some with
job.
the community and give us some ideas what you guys suggest and go through Jack.
Sure.
Okay.
How long would this take? Obviously, it wouldn't be something for this coming full season.
No, currently approvals from Westchester Health are 12 to 18 months.
Uh,
We're talking about 2026.
Mhm.
Depending on how quickly the village can. Normally with municipalities, there's a lengthy process. The town of Woodbury, it took us overall a little under 3 years.
I know once, whatever, the golden idea was Labor Day, the pool shut down. That Tuesday, work would start with any reconstruction.
Well, the actual construction
Yeah.
goes quickly.
Yeah.
It takes us longer, much
It's
longer.
the
to get a
permits and
Pool approved than
Yeah.
it does the build.
Board of Health.
So if we start at the end of a season, you would be up and running for the following season.
I guess what's gonna happen, what should happen here is plans, anything will be for 2026. Very early.
Right.
We have, the one good thing about that is the rec fees coming in from our developments
Correct.
will be accessible at that point,
Okay.
right?
So we'll have
So
more.
We'll have more in our budget.
Exactly.
But we, like John said, we need to get moving on a drawing.
Yep.
And get it submitted sooner than later.
And that,
Most popular thing about town.
Come to the mic, come to the mic.
Yeah.
Come to the mic.
Yeah, because
If my-
John originally had asked, I don't know if it came out on film, but he had asked how long this process would take, and you said about 12 to 18 months
For the approval.
for the approval alone, so.
One of the most popular structures, features at the town's pool is its zero depth entry. It's like a beach. You walk right
Yeah.
in
yeah,
where the features are, and that's really why, even though there's not a kiddie pool there, we put in some spray type features, but the fact that it's zero depth entry is a big hit. If it didn't have the zero depth entry, we have the same situation here where the moms, dads would have to come in carrying their toddlers. But
right.
again, they can walk right in like they're at a beach.
Yeah.
That's, I don't know if you've seen it, but it's.
See,
No, I
there's
have
the
not.
luxury of having John.
John is great. The whole crew, the whole rec committee is
There
great.
you go.
I mean, that concept of the beach entry with for a kiddie pool with the fountains, that's what we're looking at for the town of Warwick right now. Not a huge pool, but they're gonna spend about $500,000 on it. And it's roughly a 900 square foot pool.
Can you get us some pictures of that concept, like the
Of
share?
the concept, yes, it's in
Or-
review now.
Or
so
some of
it's
the
not
things that,
built yet.
or some of the other jobs that you've worked on. And my other question is going to be like, so let's get to the bigger picture. What's up with the big pool?
The big pool, from what I understand, overall it functions well. You've had some issues with water quality. You have a DE grid filter, which is in need of some maintenance,
The summer.
but it works well. I would stay on top of the maintenance extremely diligently. Once you open up Pandora's box with the health department, there's no end.
Right.
We had established for 15 years with the health department, whatever we touch, we bring up the current code. Over the last year, they have decided that's not the way to go anymore. So if you go in asking about this 1 square foot of deck, the entire pool is up for review. And they can require full compliance on everything. And it's very frustrating because you have your sanitarians in every year to look at your pool and they tell you everything looks fine, no violations, it's all good. And then the engineers come out and all of a sudden, nothing is good. I have a pool in Cortland that I'm working with now. Their sanitarian for 15 years told them everything is fine. The engineers came out. You cannot open this pool next year unless you do A, B, and C, because you're going to kill somebody. On zero notice, they no longer have a swimming pool on something they were told is fine for over a decade.
Yeah.
So once we involve the health department, you have to worry about that.
So basically what you're telling us is the big pool is Pandora's box.
It definitely can be. By maintaining it, taking care of what you have, you don't have to change anything. The DE grids, you can replace those. That's maintenance. Go ahead and do it. You don't need anybody's okay for that.
Yeah.
Your disinfection system, as long as you're not changing it, you can maintain it. Once you make a change, you need health department. But taking care of things, you don't need their approval. The problems that you have, which would be your biggest, the pool is significantly out of level. The one corner, if you're standing at the building, looking at the pool, the near left corner, you've got an inch of ponding coming up onto the deck, but the far left corner is still, you've got another inch of water to go before the gutter is actually over top.
Yeah.
Releveling the gutters can get pretty expensive. We're looking at doing that for another camp right now, and they're looking at about $500 a linear foot.
Okay.
It's all concrete work, right? All
Yes.
concrete.
Basically what they do when they form the pool wall, they build a concrete shelf. They leave threaded rods sticking up out of the base of that shelf. The stainless steel gutter is then welded to the threaded rod, which they use to level it all out. Once they have it leveled, they fill behind and below with a grout. The grout does not last anywhere near as long as either concrete or stainless
Right.
steel. As water gets in, freeze thaw, and it knocks it out of level. In addition, the pool's been there for 50 years. You may have just had settlement of the entire pool.
Right. That's probably what it is. It's all
But-
stone. It's all rock up there.
Right. So to fix it, we either take out all the grout, cut that stainless steel gutter loose and reset it, or we just cut the whole top of the pool off and we reform it with a concrete gutter.
Gotcha.
You know, those are really the two most common options on how to fix that. With stainless gutters, it's definitely a product with more longevity.
I was just gonna say, it's got, yeah, because you're
Wanna keep doing
eliminating
this?
the problem and redoing it, basically almost new.
Yes. We've got one where we're doing that right now. It's a 7,200 square foot pool.
Okay.
And we're doing that now. Private dollars, they paid 290,000 for that,
So we got some homework to do.
you know?
Well, Marcus,
It's
I know
not
you had
hurting
mentioned, with the AMS permits and different permits coming in, we have some other funding coming also. So
Okay.
we just need to know the options, I guess, of.
Yeah, I mean, at least from my perspective, tonight was a lot about hearing what you want.
Yep.
You know, what is it you're looking for?
No, I think you gave us a great starting point. So,
No. I'd be happy to sit with you and work on layouts for a new kiddie pool or
Yeah.
a plan on what you should anticipate doing for your swimming pool. Honestly, most of it you're not going to want to do. It's a lot of money for something that's not a noticeable improvement.
Yeah.
It's just to avoid issue with the health department.
right.
If nobody said anything to you, but jump in and spend $500,000 fixing it.
You've actually answered the question already.
Yep.
So let's get back to the kiddie pool.
Okay?
Never mind the big pool. We know we're gonna have to just keep up maintenance on that. We don't want to open up Pandora's box. So we need a concept of what you suggest, not a finished product. Or if you have pictures of a finished product, we'd like to see them as well, so we can share with our recreation committee. And maybe they can give a few points on what they're looking to get out of this. A concept of something you're doing now, some drawings of something you're gonna do or you've done, even drawing. I mean, drawings are fine as well.
Sure.
You know, something that we can look at and see what we can do to maximize that space we have up there. And, you know, we all get on this, our committee, the board, and everybody get on this, and we'll take a look at it and really try and get this started, because like you said, it's gonna take almost 2 years to complete this
Right.
project. So,
Do you have any idea how many people you would want the kiddie pool to accommodate?
I have no idea.
That's a.
John, do you have any idea?
Yeah, okay.
I would really, it's based on your usage. I mean, if, you know, if you get 25 users of that age, you want to plan on a little bit of growth, add a little bit. But if you usually only have 5, don't go for
Well, do
50.
you know what the capacity was when it was open? Does anybody know what the capacity
Well,
was?
Don't know.
It was opened in the 70s.
I mean, Lori worked the camp for
yeah.
years. That kiddie pool was used.
Lori, come up.
Yeah, come
So
on.
everyone can. Yeah, no, but it's, you have information.
No, I was working at the camp for about 20 years. And there was always a big green sign right out, like on the gate that would
Yeah.
open to the kiddie pool.
Yeah.
And I thought it said capacity 35 or something like that.
That makes sense.
Adult and child, you know, everybody included, not just little ones. But
Wow. Oh, geez, I don't.
No, but I can tell, Lori can probably say the same thing. When that camp operated, the pre-K groups, that's where the kids, when you went up to the pool for
that
free
was
swim
their
time,
spot.
that's where you plan it, right?
Yep, everybody put their towels
Yeah.
out. They, you know, wade in the pool literally, and then they would go one-on-one in the big pool with the
Yeah.
counselor.
Right.
So Laura, you
Thank
think
you.
that moving forward with this kiddie section is a good idea? All the time and experience you have up there.
I liked John's idea of,
Mhm.
you know, if you made maybe half of it walk-in.
Yeah.
like
Yeah, well,
each
something like that,
one,
yeah, yeah.
That way you're staying under your 50%.
Mhm.
That way you have accessibility,
Yep.
you know, ADA compliant, and, you know, you don't have to worry about, you know, changing anything else, you know. I don't even know if you want to add a water feature. With kids that are, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 years old, they
Right.
just like splashing and having a bucket.
Right.
You know, that's just my opinion, but, you know, there's all kinds of options.
Well, we're gonna look at his
Thank you.
concept, see what he
Thank
comes
you.
up with. Thank you, Lord.
So not to rush you or anything, but when do you think you could get us a concept and some pictures of your previous work, et cetera?
Concepts, we could get you within a week. Pictures, just, I'll look through what I have that would be
Okay.
relative to what you want.
And,
I'll get you those, I'll get you an answer on that one as soon as I can.
and if you have more information, we have another workshop coming in a couple
Okay.
of weeks. You know, we'd be glad to have you back, but I'd just like to let our recreation committee know.
Yeah, and Jackie has a hand.
Oh, okay.
And I had one other question.
Sure.
Jackie, you can speak if you like. Unmute yourself, Jackie.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Usually, the camp, I believe that the idea of a kiddie pool would be a great idea for our village, because, we're getting a lot of kids that are coming into, our schools, into the pre-K program that will eventually be going into, the kindergarten. And even up today, I had a call from a parent who, was interested in enrolling her child in camp for next year. And this summer we had our largest groups were like 50 per session on kindergarten kids. The idea of a lot of parents were very afraid of them going into the big pool. We told them that everything would be fine. We taught them how to swim. But the idea of having a kiddie pool for them to start with, I think would ease a lot of the parents' minds in regards to the safety of their children. So I think it would be a great idea.
Right. No, this was a good discussion. This was a
And-
discussion we needed. Dan, I'm sorry you had.
Yeah,
another
I just
question.
had one other question. You mentioned maintenance, right? So
Right.
it's critical. Do you offer the ability to have maintenance contracts through your company?
I'm an engineer. I do design.
Okay.
I mean, you would actually work with
We have
a
to-
full contractor
We hired
to
them
do
this
that
year.
maintenance.
Yeah.
But I
Okay.
mean, just some simple things that you're doing now, which
Yeah.
I would suggest you look into.
Yep.
You know, your DE grids are shot.
Yep.
Yes, they are.
You had a problem with them this year. You will continue to have problems to head that off.
Yep.
It's not that expensive an item to change out.
Gotcha.
And know that you're going to be set for the next 10 years on them.
Yep.
Your chemical storage, you have 10, 15, 50-gallon drums of chlorine stored out there. Chlorine does not do well in the sunlight.
Right.
You know, so the longer it sits there, the more diluted, weaker concentration it gets, the less effective it is. You also have all single wall chemical containers out there. So there is no spill containment, but you're storing 500 plus or minus gallons of chlorine.
Yeah.
And in addition, your main storage is a little bit away from the building. So they've got a chemical pump that's transferring from that remote storage to another container inside the mechanical room. You've got teenagers out there transferring hundreds of gallons of chlorine. You can get 350-gallon tanks, double walled, so they have built-in secondary containment. You have your spill control.
Yep.
You can put them closer to the building. You can eliminate pumping from one tank to another. At 150, you can get bulk delivery.
Yep.
If you need that many tanks out there that you have a dozen or 10, whatever it is, 50-gallon Crocs, you can get 3 of those bigger tanks. As long as we keep you below 165 gallons per container, you do not need a DEC permit.
Okay.
If we get you one bigger container, you have to go to the DEC. You don't want to do that.
Right.
But 3 containers where the kids don't have to transfer all the chemicals, it's safer. You can put a cover over it, a pavilion type roof. Doesn't have to be anything complicated. You'll get more money for your chemicals. You're not burning them out before you even use them. You have no pH control built in. You're relying on manual hand application of pH control. Chlorine is a basic chemical. You know, it raises your pH level as you're adding it to the pool.
Okay.
To offset that, we continuously feed muriatic acid into the pool. That maintains your pH level where it's supposed to. When your pH level is out, you burn through your chlorine twice as quickly. Again, you're just wasting your chemicals. You know, adding in a 50-gallon container with muriatic acid in it and an additional chemical pump, it's going to cost you $1,500, but you'll have significant savings up front just in reducing your chlorine cost, reducing your staff's efforts of trying to hand apply a pH chemical and trying to get it right, and avoiding downtime in waiting to get the pH right.
Yeah.
For a couple $1,000s, you can add a chemical controller. It's a computer that sits there all day long, has nothing to do but test your chemicals and turn on chlorine and acid as needed. Again, you're avoiding somebody having to spend their time doing that. You also don't have somebody turned on the chlorine pump, got busy, and went home for the night. Now you've pumped in 20 gallons of chlorine overnight for no reason. You wasted all that money. Plus the pool's closed because your chlorine level's too high.
Right.
Or the opposite.
It's
They
kind of,
forgot to turn it on. You have no chlorine. You got to wait 3 hours until you get chlorine in the pool. Most places that incorporate those kind of changes save their money back in 1 to 1.5 seasons.
okay. You answered a lot of questions.
Yeah, I know you're a wealth of information. Thank you.
We need.
You're welcome.
We need to bring it up to today's standard, basically.
Well, you need to engineer a system that with all of the equipment that you just said.
Yeah.
Or
Everything I just told you for
Yeah.
the main pool, very simple.
and
very
that doesn't require anything through the Board of Health. Any of those changes?
The only thing that might need
Tanks have to be less
change
than
is if we have
165
to use a different chemical pump than what you're using.
Mhm.
The storage crock, you can do that. That's okay.
It doesn't require inspection at all?
No, as long as we use compliant chemical storage,
Mhm.
that's what you're required.
Okay, good.
If we change the chemical, we would have to go to them. Changing the pumps, we have to go to them. But moving stuff around, we can do that.
Okay.
Good. Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I think we
Here's
all
a lot
learned a
of
lot this
information.
evening.
Yeah, so I will put together some ideas for you guys
Right.
and just having a ballpark idea of what things cost.
Yes.
You can start thinking about what you want. I did run the numbers. Well, I'm sorry, I forget your name. Well, while you was speaking, your current pool under current rules, the kiddie pool would hold 25.
Okay.
You know, the health code allows you to overcrowd the pool. It's 1 per 15 square foot.
Okay.
5 by 3 is not a lot of space for
Mhm.
being in a pool, but legally that would be your capacity.
Okay.
All right, so we'd have to
Thank you
expand
so
it.
much.
If you think you're gonna have potentially 50 kids in there, then yes.
Okay.
I'll give you some ideas, show you what their capacity is,
Yep.
and then you can kind of judge what size you'd like, at least having something to look at.
I think that'd be a great starting point.
All right.
Sounds good.
And
Thank
Mayor,
you.
can we,
Thank you,
can we
Tom.
make sure that we have the committee involved in it?
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. That's why I'd asked him if
Yep.
he's available, if you'll have that information available for the workshop. And then we'll make sure that the committee, we'll invite them too.
All right.
So that'll be great.
Sounds good.
Great.
Okay.
Appreciate your
Thanks so
time.
much.
Have a good night.
Okay.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
All right, you too. Be well.
Thank you.
Thank
You as well.
I'm going to change the order here. I'm going to bring up, we're going to discuss I'm going to be opening, let me open the motion for the Altice franchise agreement. So I'd like to make a motion to open up the public hearing for the Altice franchise agreement, which is Optimum.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
So Frank, if you could come up and give us a little review.
Sorry to keep you waiting, Frank.
No, don't worry.
Yeah. I didn't realize the pool discussion was going to be
Learned a lot
so
about
long.
pools. It was
That's
great.
right. See, there you go.
So, good evening, Mayor, Board of Trustees. Again, my name is Frank Oliva. I'm the Senior Director of Government Affairs for Optimum. And thank you for allowing me the time to speak at the public hearing for our franchise renewal. The current agreement the new agreement is based largely off of the existing agreement that was entered into and approved by the board January 1st, 2009, and subsequently approved by the PSC November 5th, 2009. It was for a term of 15 years. It actually expired yesterday, but pursuant to PSC rules and regs, we're operating under the existing contract until such time as the PSC approves the new contract. At the end of 2021, Optimum sent the village its federally mandated 626 letter, exercising our right to begin negotiations. We began negotiations over the summer, and I believe we've come to a mutually beneficial agreement for both the town, its residents, and Optimum. The agreement grants Cablevision of Wappingers Falls, which is doing business as Altice USA, delivering Optimum cable and internet services, the authority to operate our cable system in the public right-of-way throughout the entire village. The service area is the entire village, and it is fully built out, meaning that we pass every home within the village proper, offering our hybrid fiber coax system and a fiber-rich network. The agreement provides the village to receive a franchise fee of 2% of our gross cable revenue, which is based on our cable services provided to the residents of the village. We also offer the agreement also offers free basic cable services both to Village Hall, the Highway Department, and the fire station, and we provide free basic internet services to Village Hall. Finally, the agreement provides for a $5,000 grant in support of the village's public educational government access capital needs for its channel. That's about the long and short of the franchise agreement terms. Happy to answer any questions from the board or the public as needed.
So this new agreement, the other one was 15 years.
Yes,
And you can only get a PEG grant within within that contract, within the 15 years.
that's correct. So the pay grants are for a sum certain. So it's not an ongoing obligation like franchise fees are. So for instance, yesterday, when the term of the franchise expired, we're still obligated under the existing expired franchise to pay on the same definition of gross receipts to the village for franchise fees. However, the obligation for public and government access grants, we actually satisfied that, I think, in year 2 of the agreement, but that would be the same dynamic. And we contemplate somewhat of an ongoing PEG grant to meet the needs of the village's capital expenditures. So I believe it's 5,000 over 5 years, and it's consistent with level playing field obligations that we have within the regulations that are provided by the PSC.
So the Village of Buchanan every 5 years could approach you for more PEG grant money, another 5,000? Or it's through the term?
It's through the term.
of the-
It's through
okay.
the term.
I just wanted to
Yeah,
clarify
no, it's
that.
through the term. That's correct.
So the new one is going to be 15 years also, because I know we talked
Yes.
about 10 years.
That's correct. I thought we settled on 15 years. We can certainly change it to 10, and that won't change the substance of the agreement if the board so chooses. The PSC creates a maximum term of 15 years. Most communities in the region have taken 15 years. But, not that, I mean, we can certainly make that change if that's what the village so
What
chooses.
would be the benefit of it?
There's really no difference
Well, the only benefit would have access 5 years earlier if we wanted to
Sure.
have
to
the
renegotiate.
renegotiate and get a PEG grant. Because right now, the franchise fee, it goes from 2% to 5%. And the board has decided to keep it at 2% because
Correct.
otherwise it affects
That's
what
correct.
the residents are going to pay.
Right.
That's correct.
So, I don't know, up to the board. I'm good with 10. Also, I'm good with 15, whatever the board feels is appropriate. I just thought getting the additional PEG grant would, we'd get it sooner than the 15 years. Oh, and Frank, could you do something else for me?
Mhm.
I know you had mentioned, this was kind of interesting information. So they looked at our government channel, who accesses it and how long they're on it. And your findings on that were
Oh, forgive me, I don't have the number in front of
Okay.
me. It was
once a month.
less than 1% of the population watching for about a half an hour a month. Again, I know this is a public forum. I want to say it's 3 people, 3 households. Don't quote me on that, though. I will verify that and get back to the board.
Okay. And this is just the Optimum channel. So we
That's
don't know
correct.
right now what FiOS is, what their numbers
Right.
are too.
You know,
Okay.
not knowing how many file subscribers there are,
Yeah.
I would probably be willing to wager it's
About
roughly
the
the
same.
same. Just because, with YouTube and other, areas of, streaming public access is no longer necessary on the linear channel for people to see those items.
Yeah, because most people now, it's YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube, Facebook, Zoom, they can
Mhm.
watch and they can, follow up and pause and go back if they need to.
Mhm. All right. What would the board like, a 10 or a 15-year agreement with?
I'm fine with either. I don't know what everybody else wants to do, but
I'm fine with either.
Either's not an answer.
Okay, it's 6 of one, half a dozen.
Well,
the
I
other.
mean, it's already drafted up for 10 years, or it's already drafted up?
It's
for
already
15?
drafted
for
for
15.
15.
So then let's
15.
just make it easy.
Yeah, leave it there.
And again, that's consistent with other communities throughout the
Okay.
region.
Mostly everybody says a 15-year agreement.
That's right.
Okay.
On
'Cause I know
both
the
sides of the
previous
river.
was. Okay, all right. And the agreement with the start date would be,
So it's not clear. The PSC is backlogged. It could be anywhere from 3 to 6 months before we get a docket
Okay.
number and timing.
well, last time
I-
it was January 1st to, you said
Took
sometime in
them,
November.
yeah, that's an odd. I don't know why. I don't know why it took them that long. But it could, we're seeing about 6 months that the
Okay.
PSC
All right.
would, but, you know, again, we'll, because we haven't changed much as it relates to the franchise fee and the definition of gross revenue, we haven't changed anything. The franchise fees that the village receives won't be impacted at all.
Okay. Marcus, do you have anything to add? Because I know you were on the calls too with Optum.
No, the one thing I do want to say that I appreciate you recognizing the change of technology with YouTube and videotaping. But we face everything on TV. Nobody's really watching TV, only on the streaming. And
Well, I hope
that-
they will. I hope
yeah.
they keep watching Optimum.
Yeah, well, but be streaming it out.
Right.
So it's not being recognized. So I appreciate you understanding that and the cost to keep our equipment upgraded to make sure people can still watch it on the web or stream it so people can watch it even though they're not watching the TV anymore. So I do appreciate you recognizing that, providing the PEG grant.
Yeah.
And
Which
we
was an
were-
increase from last time, by the way.
Yes, it was.
And we were fortunate, we had some issues with our equipment downstairs, and we were fortunate that another community gave us or sold us a piece of equipment that was necessary to keep that going. So this way we can use the grant money to upgrade whatever we need to upgrade.
Great.
So thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming tonight.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other comments from board members? Because since it's a public hearing, I'm gonna put it out to the public also, if they have any questions or comments. We're all good? Okay, it's pretty straightforward. This
Yeah.
is something we've done before, so it's not, you know, it's basically very similar to what we've done before. Okay, thank you, Frank.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you, Frank.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Okay, so I am now going to make a motion to approve the agreement with Altice USA Optimum with a franchise fee of 2%. It will be a 15-year agreement, and the PEG grant will be for $5,000. And I think I've added everything in there that we needed to, okay? Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Right.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Okay, the next is a motion to approve change order number 5 in the amount of $15,848. Our engineer spoke about this earlier, so I'm going to make a motion to approve change order number 5 in the amount of $15,848 in reference to the 2024 road improvement project as recommended by the village engineer. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Okay, opened it, we closed it. Also, next is, I'll be making a motion for the mayor to authorize to sign the Teamsters stipulation. We had our labor attorney and Marcus had a discussion with the Union 456. There was an issue with one of the positions, and we're waiting for the position to be cleared by civil service, but there's an agreement that involves this, and I'm trying to find the agreement. Marcus, would you like to add to that while I'm finding the agreement?
No, there was some disagreement, and I think we reached a settlement that satisfies both parties, and we will keep good terms with the union. I think everybody be happy with the settlement that we reached.
Good job.
Have it, Teresa?
I have it, yes, thank you.
Oh, yeah, I think that-
And the only thing, because I know Craig wrote up the agreement.
With the union. They're both
Okay, with the
agreed.
union. Okay,
Yeah.
because the only thing I noticed on this, I read through the agreement, but I noticed that there's a place for you to sign.
Mhm.
And tonight we're authorizing the mayor to sign the agreement. So,
Civil service the reason I Craig said civil service recognized me as chief executive officer for civil service, so that would both parties have to sign.
getting ready, Marcus, huh? Okay, so we will leave that under that I'm not even gonna, nope. So anyhow, I would like to make a motion authorizing the mayor to sign the Teamster stipulation of agreement regarding a grievance in the labor automotive mechanic position. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. The next we have to talk about, this is Trinity Solar. They're looking for a solicitation permit. And, okay, I just had it in my hands. Bear with me. Is that, oh, I had it right here too. All right, thank you. So this is a solar company that wants to do some door-to-door here in the village. And what I seen on here, I don't know. The original permit here that we have, it says hours of operation, Sunday and Monday off. Tuesday through Thursday, 1:30 to 7:30. Friday, 1 to 7, and Saturday, 10 to 5. So my only concern is with these hours, the weather, we're getting darker. It's 5 o'clock at night. It's dark. I personally don't like anyone knocking on my door and when it's dark. So I think the 7:30, 7 o'clock hours are a little late. So I don't know, what does the board feel about that? I think they could start really 11 or 12 Tuesday through Thursday or any day. But I don't know. I don't think the residents are going to be happy with someone knocking on their door that late.
Teresa, if I could, Cindy sent an email
I
about
did
what
see
we've
that
done
email, Cindy,
previously.
too.
Maybe do you remember what it said? Because I didn't print it, so.
I don't think we've ever
Posted.
allowed it to be that late.
Yeah.
I think it was like
That's late.
12 to 6 and
Yeah,
not
I
more
think
than
6
twice a
PM
week.
was the cutoff.
And Monday through Saturday only.
So it was
Okay.
Monday through Saturday, 12 to.
But is 6 o'clock
12 to
okay?
6.
Yep.
Is that still okay with people? Okay.
And then not more than twice a week.
Right,
We had it.
correct. Okay, thank you. No, because I got this in the packet and then I did see your email, so that's, I wanted to have that discussion of which it was.
Well, I think we decided on till 6 o'clock because some people work and get home a little bit later. And so I think 6 o'clock is pretty reasonable, but 7 to 7:30, I mean, that's not.
Yeah, that's, yeah, no. Okay.
And you said send Monday through Friday?
Cindy,
Tuesday through Saturday, right?
No,
Days.
I think Cindy said Monday through Friday,
Or Monday through Saturday?
Monday through Saturday. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, because on this. we
Yeah,
got
they're
the
off on
packet.
Monday, so they won't use Monday, but
So Monday through Saturday. Okay, so we're good. Okay, good. All right.
12 to 6
That's all.
and 2
I just wanted
times?
to have that
2
conversation.
times a week, 12 to 6.
Thank
Okay. Great. So I would like to make a motion to approve the request from Trinity Solar for a solicitation permit, and it will be Monday through Saturday from 12 to 6. Can I have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
excuse me, not more than 2 times per week.
Oh, and I'm
Right,
sorry.
and not,
Thank you.
And not more than 2 times a week. Can I add that? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Stephanie. Okay, there is something I do want to add on to the agenda, and Cindy handed it out to us. We just got this evening, and it's about the AIM funding that, so there was a discussion last year. And I remember being at Westchester Municipal Officials, they had asking the state for additional money for the AIM, which is aid for municipalities. So it's an extra amount of money. We get about $17,000. Some communities get a lot more, but since we're the smallest community in Westchester County, we get $17,000. So if they could increase that, that's fine. We'll take it. So there's a resolution. I don't know if the board is okay with approving this tonight. Otherwise, we have to wait. There's a resolution asking that the state increase that money. Okay.
You sent the email you just sent.
Uh-huh.
I read it.
Yeah.
I have no problem.
Yeah,
but
no, I think
I'm
it's
fine with
I
it.
don't
pretty
either.
standard.
Yep.
You know, we're all asking, all the municipalities are asking for more money. So, isn't this terrible? Where the heck did Anthony, where is it? Right here.
I have it on the phone.
Here.
Okay, thank you. I got it. Thank you. It's buried in here. I got so much paper. It's buried in here. Thank you. So this is a sample resolution, but it's wonderful. It's fine. It's direct and to the point. So we're going to use the sample. Whereas until 2024, cities, villages, and towns had not received an increase in unrestricted state aid, AIM funding in 15 years, significantly impacting their ability to provide essential services to their residents. And whereas after a prolonged period without financial support, local governments finally received an increase of $50 million in unrestricted state aid. Whereas local officials expressed their gratitude for the $50 million increase in unrestricted aid, recognize it is a positive step towards addressing longstanding funding challenges. And whereas the state has referred to this new aid as temporary, so last year was considered temporary municipal assistance, suggesting that such increases may not continue, jeopardizing the sustainability of crucial municipal programs and services. And whereas the property tax cap further limits the ability of local governments to properly fund the programs and services their residents need, and whereas increased and ongoing state aid for local government is vital for maintaining infrastructure, public safety, housing, and other municipal service, and whereas the challenges of inflation, the increasing cost of labor and supplies, and the end of extraordinary federal aid only accentuate the need for consistent and predictable funding to effectively plan for the future and meet the growing needs of their residents. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the Village of Buchanan calls upon the governor and the state legislature to commit to continuing the additional $50 million in unrestricted aid in the 2025-26 state budget and beyond. And be it further resolved that the Village of Buchanan urges state officials to recognize the need for a long-term plan that ensures consistent and predictable increases in financial support for local governments that keep pace with inflation. So can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, so information from officers and departments, justice reports. Oh, boy. I have too much paper here tonight. Whatever happened to the Paper Reduction Act? That went out the window? Oh, my gosh. Just give me a second. Oh, Anthony, I found it.
Oh, good.
Trinity Solar.
That's great.
It's there, kids. Okay, good, wonderful. Okay, so for October 1st, Justice Court, $899. And also on October 1st, $5,372. So I always like to read that to let the residents know what the court is collecting. Police report. Is that you, Bob? That's Bob, right?
Bob, you there?
He probably
Bob?
muted.
Yes, I'm here, except I left my packet at home before I came here, so I don't have it in front of me.
Okay, so I'll just do a review. Assist citizens, 11, call for service, 16, moving summonses, 42, total calls, 157. This is for the month of September. Property checks, 34. V&T vehicle and traffic investigation, 6. So the breakdown is dissipate traffic control, 6. Stop sign violation, 1. Other violations, 12. Speed in zone, 13. And equipment uninspected, 10. Next is the highway report.
Highway report for September 2024, garbage 83 tons, dumpsters 18 tons. Bulk and dumpster, sorry. Total garbage for July was 118 tons. There's a lot going on in the village as far as paving and we fixed the parking lot. The guys were busy doing markouts and doing potholes. I was down there. We had an issue. It's being resolved. They replaced the roof. The roof is on the salt shed. Everything is getting back the way it was. Hopefully we'll have this all cleaned up and ready to go. And they always do a good job as usual.
And Anthony, if I may, Scott has created a diagram of the equipment that we talked about
Mhm.
down at the site, including the land next door. So
Yes.
I'll forward that to the board tomorrow, to the whole board. Take a look at it, see what you think, and he's willing to sit down with you, go over it again. But I
Yeah.
think he's trying to organize everything and put everything down there to get all the equipment he needs to get inside and outside. And then he has, so I told him to do a diagram, list of all the equipment. I'll get that to you tomorrow. When we have a chance, he's willing to sit down with you and go through everything again.
Well, what I need
Yeah.
the limits on the property.
Mm-hmm.
you know, because there's a lot of property down there.
Yes.
I don't know where we start, where we end,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of room to do a lot of things that would actually to keep everything in an area where we look really organized.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And everything looks like we can access it at any time,
Mm-hmm.
no matter the weather or whatever.
Mhm.
So I need limits on property there.
Yep, okay.
If we can
Mhm.
gauge what we want to do as far as the issue with the scrap metal dumpster, the TV monitors.
I haven't put that, actually dimensions, but he actually drew everything.
Yeah,
out,
yeah,
the
just
dimensions. I haven't
do
put the
that. This
dimensions.
way,
Yep.
we can make areas I mean, there's a lot of room down there to
Yep.
facilitate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep, no
And we
problem.
should utilize it.
Okay, I have them
Yeah.
update that. and I'll have it for you tomorrow.
All right,
All right.
great.
And also show where the Con Edison property is in
Yeah,
reference
that's what I
to
need
that
to do.
back, that back area, because we'll have a better picture.
Oh, yeah,
'cause I don't
absolutely.
think you realize how much is,
Yeah, this
Yep.
way you
There's a
can
lot of room back there.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
maximize it and make it,
Maximize our property. I mean, we
Yeah.
could take all of that stuff that seems to be an eyesore and put it where it's not.
Yep, okay. I'll
It
get it
just
done
takes a
too.
little bit of an organization process, and I think we can get it done.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Okay, wastewater plant, okay, everything looks well there for the September 2024 treated wastewater, 7,412,000 gallons, and I forgot to ask George, I know we have a $15,000 gallon reduction with the lining the pipes, but I forgot to ask him where we are each day now with
We're
that.
down to a little bit over 100,000 gallons a
It's
day.
wonderful. That's
But and don't
wonderful.
forget, we have a very dry, it's
Yeah,
been
it's
very
raining.
dry.
Well, yeah,
So we
yeah,
gotta see when the first rain effect.
what the
happens.
event
But
will
we're a
happen.
little bit up at 120, 130,000 gallons a day right now.
That's good. Sludge removal, 65,000 gallons removed. Okay, that's that. Building department. Is that you, Bob?
He doesn't have his packet.
You don't have a packet.
Okay, all right.
Fabulous.
Let's see. So, building department for September 2024, 4 orders to remedy. Building permits issued 14, inspection required for newly issued permits 19, inspection on file for permits and compliance inspections 18, certificate of occupancies 8, and compliance inspections for resale or refinance are 70. Or 7, I'm sorry. Whoop, added a 0 there, 7.
say that's an awful lot
Sorry,
of-
that's like, woo, somebody's busy. Okay, and then Buchanan engine, just so everyone knows, I believe the new fire truck should be in next month. Structure fires 1, and this is for September. EMS assist 9, public assist 1, mutual aid given 2. Planning board minutes, August 22nd, 2024, and also September 26th. Those are received and filed. Zoning board, September 18th, 2024. Those are received and filed. Prosecutors reports, we'll have a discussion with that soon. And attorneys report. Stephanie, what do you have for us this evening?
A quick update on the negotiations with Homeland Towers for the cell tower. I spoke to Richard Comey twice in the last 2 weeks, and they are busy negotiating. The original, the agreement as proposed was lower than they offer to most communities, so that's what they're going back and forth on now. So I'll give you an update as soon as I get one. He thinks he'll be back in contact with me within a week or so. The other thing I want to do is I'm going to write you folks a memo on paper streets to try to take care of some of the open issues there. And in line with that would be what I would suggest or recommend would be a change to our code with regards to easements, because we're missing some language there that is rearing its head several
Mhm.
times. So I'll have that to you by the workshop, and then maybe we could schedule a public hearing for the code change once you guys get that in your hands. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Stephanie.
You're welcome.
Administrators report.
The only thing I wanted to report is on the next planning board meeting, there'll be a public hearing on 300 White Street. In case anybody's interested, this is a change of use for a construction company that's actually stationed in Queens. And they're going to start using that property at the end of 300 White Street for their storage of equipment and maintenance garage. So anybody interested, watch the meeting. There'll be the public hearing.
When is that?
What's the date on the 21st? So please, it's a public hearing. I would like people to know what's going on. So in case they have any questions, see more trucks coming into the village, they will know why. So just to let everybody know. Thank you.
So,
Yes.
so their company is out of the city, but they're having storage up here of their equipment.
and repair.
Repairs.
And repairs.
Repairs to their equipment, and they're a heavy-duty construction company.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, good. Thank you. And Marcus, any update on the Con Edison? I know they were waiting to the fall to disconnect 5 of those feeders before the other things could happen with the poles on Albany Post Road. Have you gotten any more information?
I actually sent them another 2 emails after the last meeting, because I know they were waiting for First Light, which used to be Best Web.
Yeah.
And the last email was, we're gonna move forward after the last meeting, so I'll follow up again after this meeting. I think we're moving forward, and I
Yeah.
haven't heard anything since the last meeting, so
Yeah,
I'll follow
and
up again.
was able to contact the new Public Service Commission guy because they seem to be the ones that move these companies along.
Mhm.
So the holdup was the transfer of the Con Ed, so you keep working with them and get them moving, because then we've talked about this before, it's a process. So Best Web, before anybody else can do anything, Best Web has to do their thing, and then there's a progression.
Correct.
So, but if we can get Con Edison out of the way,
Yeah.
then, we can move
Yeah,
forward
no
with
problem.
that.
And I actually took a drive down. It actually goes pretty good into Montrose as well, so.
They said there were like five connections.
Yeah, and the double woods go all the way into Montrose too, so.
It goes all the way down county.
I don't know, Peachfield's full of them
Everywhere.
too.
Yeah.
Peachfield's full of them
Except
too.
they have not removed the pole yet.
Yeah, it is
So I don't
unbelievable.
know if we're a priority,
No.
but I doubt it.
No, I agree with you. Yep.
Well, they
I'll
don't
keep-
want to do it because it costs so much money. So it's
Couldn't
like,
do
yeah,
it,
we'll
yeah.
just leave those there. It's not bothering
And
us.
then the special franchise agreement goes up too, because I got new equipment too. That's
Oh,
why.
there you go.
Yeah.
It's all about money, unfortunately. Okay, so what do I have this evening? So we talked about the flagpoles for Veterans Day, Memorial Day. Scoot is going to work on putting up, just for Veterans Day, there's going to be 13 flagpoles and 13 flags. So going forward, we will work on getting, so for Memorial Day, we'll have that all arranged, where if people want plaques for those flagpoles, whether the village resident's name, John Smith, and his date of service, the resident could buy the plaque and attach it to that flagpole. But for this year, Veterans Day, we'll start with 13 and 13 colonies. So we'll do that. We'll get that started, and then by Memorial Day, we'll have that in full gear. Also, the town always holds the Veterans Day ceremony. That will be on November 11th at 11 o'clock. History-wise, it used to be called Armistice Day. So at the 11th month, the 11th day, and the 11th hour, a treaty, an armistice was signed to end World War I. So over the years, in 1954, because of the Korean War, because of World War II, the government decided to change it to Veterans Day. So anybody that can make it that day, it's at Muriel Morabito Center. They always do a lovely program for the veterans.
What day is it?
It's on Monday, the 11th. They also have some of the children, they do like a essay of what Veterans Day means to them. And the veterans really, really appreciate it. I mean, one day for them is never enough. They've done so much for our country. So, and like I said, it's always a great thing to celebrate and honor our veterans for their patriotism and everything, their sacrifices for our country. Just wanted to give a little history there. Also, for elected officials and also first responders, on Friday, November 22nd, I'm not sure if everybody got that, but at the county center from 9 to 12, they're holding for public officials, they're holding this whole thing with NYSERDA for the battery storage facilities. So there's an informational update on that, which should be pretty interesting.
Teresa, you got my emails on the emails that Sharon and I shared. We got into a couple fires that happened with the battery.
Oh, yeah.
The fact, and also a battery
It's a fact.
recycling.
Yeah.
Oh, that one that Sharon, yeah.
The one out in California.
Yeah,
Yeah.
recycling center burnt up, yeah.
Wow. So, and then what the concern is, and then when you speak to Con Edison also, I know there was talk about them putting,
Batteries on
the
poles.
battery is on the poles. I don't know, so see if they're considering that still
Yeah.
or, because that's not gonna be fun if the pole lights up. And I did have one other thing. Scatterbrain today. Okay, if I remember what I was going to talk about, I will return to it in the end. So Anthony, what do you have for us this evening?
Oh, thank you.
No, thank you, Anthony.
All right.
Oh, God.
Wow.
Oh, no, thank you.
All right. Let's move on.
Yes.
And I would like to start by saying that congratulations to all of our politicians locally and nationally who achieved victory yesterday and both parties. It was nice to see that a lot of people got out to vote. I came here to vote and it was very crowded. And it was good to see that everybody got out and voted. And congratulate everybody who was victorious. Also, I like to thank that Recreation Committee, Wilda and Teresa, you guys are, I was happy to see that. I mean, that's what our village should be based on, other than government aspects. Getting the community involved with what we do is real important. And we should really look for more options, like they said, having more events that are free for the public. I'm all for it. I think it's a great idea. I think the community comes together. The ideas will keep flowing and we will get good turnouts, and it's good for our younger families moving into the area to see that we are a good community. It's a good place to bring up your children. I grew up here in the Tri-Village area, but it's a good place to be and it's safe. And we appreciate all that the Recreation Committee has done. They have really stepped forward. And the guy with the pool,
Yeah.
I'm excited to know that now we have a direction. I mean, as long as I've been on this board as a trustee, we've been talking about that kiddie pool.
Mhm.
And it's something has to happen. We have to do something. I mean, it's a waste of real estate up there, and obviously it was a very big asset when it was active. So we gotta make that work again. And it sounds like it's gonna take a long time, but we gotta get on that right away. Other than that, that's it. I mean, the fly is chasing me around
Is
here.
that a fly or a
Coming
bee?
over this way. Oh my gosh.
Big.
Yeah, he's something
Wow.
else. So,
One too.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't have anything else. Thank you.
Okay, and I just wanted to comment with the rec committee. I was so sitting here, I was smiling, but I was so proud of them that they're working for our community and they're so excited, they're so enthused, and they're so involved, and I think that's great. The other thing I did want to say before, Anthony, was I was at my store across the street yesterday, and I can't tell you, I've lived here my whole life. I can't tell you how many cars kept coming into our lot, kept coming in. I was like, oh my God. People for years were like, no, my vote doesn't count. It made me so happy to see that people were engaged. And whether you voted, whatever party you voted, but people were interested. They were coming out, they were voting, they were involved in the system. This is your government. You have to vote. You have to have a voice. Don't ever think you don't have a voice. So please, always, any election, please come out. It's so important. There's people, our veterans, who have died and fought for our freedoms. And that's really disrespectful to them when we're not involved in our government and not voting and using our rights. So I was so pleased to see that yesterday. I was like, oh my God, are they giving something away over there? It was that crazy here yesterday. I have also asked for the results of the election, how many people voted in the village. So I will have those results. They said it takes about a couple of weeks, so I'll share that with everyone, how many people voted and how the vote turned out. So let me get Bob Wheeler now, so I don't forget him. So Bob, hi. What do you have for us this evening?
Well, I don't really have too much because Anthony covered a couple of things I was going to bring up. The only other thing I'll say is I won't be around for another 2 or 3 weeks, and I'd like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
All right,
Same
thank
to
you.
you.
You as well, Bob.
Thank you.
And that's all I have.
Who should I pick?
I'll jump in.
Okay.
I already
Elizabeth.
shared my presentation was the pickleball update as well as the Recreation Committee's presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question on that.
Yes,
I remember now. I have a
yes.
question. Are you gonna move on in the spring with this pickleball lessons? Expand maybe a little bit?
We're doing it now. That's why I was saying, even though it's chilly, we're still playing.
Well, you guys are something.
We're diehard.
Yeah.
We're working on creating a league.
Well, that was my next point.
We are going to
So,
create that
If
league.
we, this way, I want to get the groundwork so we can actually develop some pickleball courts. And I mean, you're setting the pace,
Mhm.
but we need to look into that as well as like the pool and everything else. That's something that, I mean, if this interest in the community, and Steve Laker is back there. Steve, this was Steve's dream. I remember you, Laker.
So you built a field of dreams and
So-
they came.
Yeah.
And I
So-
have to say, look, in front of Steve, there's Steven, and he's been graceful. He stayed the whole time for the meeting. In the back is George, who joined us a few weeks ago, and they were kind enough to come. I don't think I'm missing anyone. Megan left and someone else left, but they're very committed to the
Yeah.
point that they came here to thank the board. And I have to thank the board because I know I received a lot of pushback. When I take the reins, I push all the way. And that's the same thing with the Recreation Committee. And what I wanted to say, Teresa, when I walked up there, the reason I did that was I had discussed with the committee that it was a team presentation. So I did not want to speak from my chair. I wanted to stand with them because that's how we work as a team. And part of what I was going to say, and I didn't because of how it went down, was that I was going to thank you on behalf of the team for bringing them together and then passing the baton to me. The goal of teamwork is just that, to work together to make a difference for the community, and that's where I stand. I don't do things halfway, I go all the way. So Steve, you had the dream, and we are making it a reality.
So I'd like to also comment on that. I know you're the liaison for the Recreation Committee, but I really wanted I wanted them to do the results. I want it to be coming from the residents and.
So what's the point of my being the liaison?
Then you report back to the board.
I was just standing over there.
Okay,
That does, listen,
okay, we're not gonna fight over this.
oh, I'm not going to
I'm not
fight
gonna
with you,
fight
but
over
I am
it.
going
No.
to correct you. If we are a team and the team is presenting and I am part of that team, at that moment, I am not a trustee. I am part of a team.
All I'm saying is I formed this committee so that it could be the total work of the Recreation Committee and the residents. So obviously we disagree on that.
We disagree on the
That's
way the
fine.
work should look
Okay.
because I roll up my sleeves. Maybe you sat
And I appreciate.
and I
it.
don't.
Thank you so
I don't
much.
work that way. If you want, you could
Okay.
take it back. You could take it back. I have other projects I'm working on.
Okay, well, that's fine. Thank you, though.
Thank
But
you
thanks,
too.
though.
Thank you too.
Okay, so I think we need a discussion next workshop. This is another discussion. So we talked about one time, the pickleball court, is that going to be under the pavilion so that it can be the lights and used year round? And then we also had a discussion about maybe moving the basketball courts to the tennis courts. So I mean, that's just some food for thought because I don't think the basketball courts and the pickleball are gonna coincide, especially if you're gonna have the whole pavilion, like maybe 4 courts of pickleball.
Right now, we have 3.
I think you eliminate the tennis courts altogether, put the pickleball courts in there. We don't utilize them for anything. I think the pickleball courts and the tennis courts is a home run. You have the space, you could put 2 in there. Right?
4, wasn't it 4 at one?
Under the
time?
pavilion, in the pavilion, we have 3 and it works nicely and there's still a little room for the basketball.
Yeah, so you can put up to 4 and then we'll move the.
Yeah, I
It
just
depends.
like the containment of the,
Yeah,
you know.
I just didn't know how it would, you know what I mean? If you got kids playing basketball and the basketball's going here and, I just thought, my thought is just, maybe to separate the two. But
Yeah.
I mean, we could have further
Like I said,
discussions
there's
on
different
that. Sure.
options, the natural removal, you can
Yeah.
play basketball.
Yeah.
So it depends what you, recreation, everybody gets together. You could do multi-purpose and put different lines in. So we can do any one of those options.
Yeah.
The good thing about
That's
using the
good.
pavilion for pickleball is we can play during any type of weather.
That's it.
Do you have an asset by the pavilion
Oh,
Because, listen,
That's
I grew
nice.
up, we play sports, I was, sports too, it was 0 degrees, and we played all the time.
Us
So,
too.
if I had a pavilion like that, I would never leave, but.
I know, I
So
know.
it's a good,
Full
it's a great
asset
asset
for
that
the
people can
village.
use.
Absolutely. Dan, what do you have for us this evening?
Just a few things. I know we got the one grant. I want to know, what's the status of the WQIP grant? Is there a time frame in which we're looking to get some kind of notification as to whether or not we're
That's
going to get the
usually by
funds,
the
not
end-
get the funds?
Oh, we don't know. We won't know.
It
It's
could be,
usually
Jan-
the
it
end
could
of
be,
the
it could be
year.
January, or February.
Okay.
And there's two things, just for the public to know too. Each grant requires a match. That's why the $6 million we have. So we are grant, as we discussed this, Ed, again, it could be up to 20, it could be just 75% match. The WQRP grant could go up to 80% and 20% match. But again, the DEC can change the ground rules. So hopefully when we actually receive those funds, we can look at all three grants, see what percentage is between all three, see how much we have to match it, and then we'll know exactly what we need from the $6 million. So we'll know more after we get that grant. And not only how much the grant we get, but how much we have to match by that grant.
Right. And just to reiterate, can you just put on record what we got on the WIA grant?
On the WIA grant was 2.1 million and change. And then the WQRP grant, which you got about almost 4 years ago, was 1.6 million.
Okay. And where I went, we're on that issue. I just want to know, what's the status of the Entergy monies that were left over through the IMA?
That is, that money that when Entergy closed, the Entergy Community Fund,
Yep.
that's $6 million sitting there. I'm sure they're not putting it in an account and accruing, interest for us. Probably not.
And so when do we contact the state to find out?
We contact them
get
when we
access
see-
to those funds? Once
We
get
see
these
what
grants?
where we end up
Okay.
here, and then we have a conversation with the state.
Any status on 3176 Albany Post Road?
Yes, we actually spoke to, update for you, you love this. Talked to their engineer and architect. They're gonna have a demolition permit according to them by Friday
Okay.
to demolish the building.
So just so everybody knows, 3176 Albany Post Road is across from Selleck's Auto Body, which was the old gas station. So they're now going to demo it.
Peter said the same thing. They're coming in for a demo permit by the
Okay.
end of the week,
By
right?
the end of the week, that's what they told us, yes.
There's been so many plans there. It was going to be a coffee shop, then it was going to be a liquor store.
Their engineer came down that there's so much water damage.
It needs to be damaged. That building needs to be.
That
Yeah,
building is
I
about
mean,
ready to
it's
fall
dragged
by
down long
itself.
enough, so it's
The
become an
roof was off
eyesore
by-
and
Yeah,
So is their intended permit the same?
we don't know what the new price is
They
gonna
have the
be.
plans and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah. At least it'll be demoed, it'll be grass.
Oh, it'll look better than what it looks
Yeah,
now.
absolutely. Until
There's
this.
an old gas station there. What was
Yep.
it? Eileen, the Rotary? Is it called the Rotary? The gas station? Claire? Was it Cindy? Yeah, okay. Cindy remembers.
all right, just a couple more items. Marcus, you said at the workshop, you were going to give us a breakdown on the AMS fees as far as rec fees and what fees we're going to be collecting in the way of the building
Sure, that
permits.
came over, and again, these are just estimated numbers. Definitely for AMS, we received about $621,000 in the building permit fees. Estimated cost for the reviews and the inspections is about $185,000. So the village will net out about $430,000 to the positive on that project. Village Square, just to net out, we net out there about $23,000. That's because there's 3 different buildings and 3 different inspections. If it was one building, the cost would be, the cost for inspections are higher, but you go do 3 different buildings. And I don't know when the buildings are going to be built and how long it's going to take to build the building. So there's a little difference there. So together, we're going to be about $458,000 in the positive between those 2 projects.
But can you hit on
Yep, I'm going to get there too.
the rec fees? Yeah.
Yep. But also wants to give you the estimated taxes based on the numbers we received for AMS and Carbone for the taxes. The estimated taxes for both properties, using current year's tax rate, is about $447,000 in taxes on an annual basis
To the village.
to the village. Okay?
Both properties together.
For both properties together. And then the recreation fee, I can give you a breakdown, but between the two, it's $232,500 for the recreation fee. That's $171,300 for AMS, $61,200 for Village Square, for a total of $232,500. That's based on the 1 and 2 bedroom breakup. So give you the breakup. So you have for the AMS project, it's the 1 bedrooms is $69,300. The 2 bedrooms is $102,000 for a total of $171,300. The Village Square is all 2 bedrooms, 51 2 bedrooms, based on the 2-bedroom rate that was approved by the board. That's $61,200. So a total of $232,500.
I thought the fees were more.
Yeah, that's based because the 1 bedroom is $1,100 that was approved, and the 2 bedrooms is $1,200.
And so the rec fees, just to reiterate, goes into a rec fund, only to be used towards recreation.
Correct. And
Okay.
only the village
Just so
board can-
everybody understands.
Yep, and only the village board can approve what those projects would be, but it has to be based on recreation facilities, correct?
Okay. St. Patrick's Day Committee, I see Steve back there. We've got a meeting, right, this coming Monday. 7 PM, Buchanan Firehouse. If Steve wants to come up after I'm done. And then the other thing I wanted to mention was, again, Veterans Day. Just, it's a day of remembrance. So it's not a holiday, it's a day of remembrance. So you see a vet, thank a vet. Some gave all. So keep that in mind. Thank you.
So next, comments from the floor. Anyone? Okay.
Here real quick. Thank you, Dan, and thank you to the Recreation Committee members that came out today. It was great to see all the hard work that they've been doing. And yeah, I'd like to invite them and all the members of the public to our next meeting, November 11th at 7 PM at the Firehouse.
And please, we need volunteers. We need people to get involved. Steve and I kind of took this thing last minute because the other parade committee resigned a year, like with 2-3 months to go before they're, you know.
January of last year.
Right.
So we
So
took it on.
anybody that's willing to step up and help, we would greatly appreciate your involvement.
Yeah.
It's a great little, affair every year. It's become a great tradition. We want to continue it. And again, we want everybody's involvement, whoever's willing to participate. So,
Yeah, and if you can't attend November's meeting, December 9th, Monday as well, 7 PM, same location.
yep. And if anybody has somebody they'd like to nominate for a parade aide or a grand marshal, we'll be getting the ball rolling on that as well. So,
Thank you.
Anyone else? John Bell to the podium.
208 First Street. I'm here speaking on behalf of the Buchanan Running Club. We weren't able to make it to the last meeting, but we just wanted to thank everybody involved with the support that we had. It's fantastic. So Mayor and the board, thank you for your support. Also, our police chief, Shane Farrell, and the whole police department, fantastic. Our fire chief, Bob Outhouse, and the fire department did a great job for us as well. And Scott Horton in the highway department. Anything we needed, they grabbed it for us and cleaned some stuff up for us too. Also, Cortland Ambulance Corps was there to support us. We also had members of the sheriff's department there. So we just want to thank everybody for their support. It was another good event, and we had some great sponsors, and a lot of our sponsors went above and beyond what we asked. Like Certain Team was fantastic. They provided volunteers. They also paid for all the t-shirts we gave out. Some sponsors made contributions, donations to us in addition to what the sponsorship fee was. And it was just a real good event. So we just want to thank everybody. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you, John. It's a fun event. It's, something nice for the community. Coincides with Buchanan Day. It works out well.
Yeah, it's a perfect fit.
Yeah.
yeah, and you guys have done a great job with it.
Thank you. People enjoy it. So that whole thing, tying it into Buchanan Day is great.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Works well.
Thanks,
Thank
John.
you, John.
Hi, Westchester Avenue. I'm just hearing a few residents on Westchester Avenue that I know you guys said you're doing the yellow lines on the street, but some people want to say they want to put some light posts on that street as well, where the telephone poles are. If that's
Oh.
possible,
You're saying there's not enough light on the street?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Where, what areas? Because then we can have,
Um, well, we know where I live, actually.
yeah, so like kind of across the street from you or on
Yes,
your
yes,
side?
across the street.
What is your address again?
Uh,
So Marcus can.
235.
235? Okay.
And if the pavilion can be open on the weekends, that'd be great. I know baseball season's over for Cortland Little League, so if people can still throw the ball in there during the nights and weekends, that'd be great. If it can be kept open, or be, at least we call someone, get the doors to be unlocked, that'd be great.
Yeah. Usually the police open it in the morning and they close it
I'll
at night.
check with
Yeah.
police.
I
Yeah.
thought we had it open all
I-
weekend too. I thought
yeah.
it was 7 days
I'll-
a week.
I'll check with the police.
No, I'm just.
Okay, yeah, yeah, no,
time,
that's
if
a
it's
good
really
point.
cold and it's snowing, to actually go there and ride a bike,
Mm,
have a catch, play basketball, something to do.
Good. All
Thank
right.
you.
good
Before
point.
we leave,
Yeah.
235, any other locations you want lights or just that
around
one?
there.
That's one location. Okay. Thank you.
You know, maybe at night you could, when the
Yeah,
police
yeah.
is riding around, they could look
Oh,
at
yeah,
Westchester
yeah.
Avenue and see if there's a dark spot. And mentioning about dark spots, right by Dunkin' Donuts there, I don't know if the light is out. It's
Oh.
very dark there, and by Dayrose,
Oh,
like where
okay.
Dayrose used to be, it's very dark there. So
Okay.
I don't know if there's lights out or just unusually dark. So,
Thank you.
all right,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, if there are no other comments, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.